on this computer. I won't force Mariko to upload it this time. Okay, so welcome to our training. We were going to do this for just Team Crow, and we decided to open it up to everybody because so many of us have been facing discouragement. I mean, if we weren't, Jade wouldn't be talking about it all the time. There was just the VIP training that we had recently talking about discouragement. So I thought it would be kind of fun to share some of our experiences and how we overcame them. So there's going to be 4 of us that are talking about different experiences, and we all are from different backgrounds. We all have had different things that have discouraged us in our businesses and different ways that we overcome them. So I'm going to start out with my experience. So I am a diamond leader. I have been in the company since November of 2018, and I got to Ruby fairly quickly with some help, but then I stayed at Ruby for a while. Even when I was Emerald, I lost it and went back to Ruby a few times. I signed up my first distributor at the end of January, I want to say, so a couple months after I started, and I thought I had my runner. I was very excited about her. She was obsessed with the products, in love with them. She did everything I told her to do. She charted herself for Emerald within a couple of months, and then she slowly stopped responding to me. She slowly stopped reaching out. She stopped signing customers. She stopped training her team. And then she stopped working altogether without even telling me that she was doing that. And we had become friends. She was someone who lived really close to me. And so that was very discouraging to me because I wondered what I had done wrong, that she hadn't felt comfortable telling me her struggles. So that happened in about, I want to say May or June. Every single person that she had signed up had quit. So I was close to being charted, technically, close to being charted diamond at that point, but nobody was working except for a few people. So that June, I was really discouraged. I wasn't working like I should be working in order to be getting where I wanted to be, but I didn't quite realize that. I hadn't really looked at my circumstances and what I was actually doing to realize that I wasn't doing enough. I wasn't doing enough self-development. I wasn't sending enough messages. I just wasn't doing the things that I should be doing. But once I realized that, I started really building, and I started doing my self-development. I started spending more focused time on my tasks because I thought I was working so many hours, and I wasn't. I was scrolling. I was like taking my sweet time, doing everything. I got an accountability partner, which really helped, like bouncing things off of people. And you might think everything is over if your team kind of fizzles, but you wind up with a whole different team. My team is completely different than it was at that point, but I have some amazing girls on my team, and I'm so glad that I kept growing, because if I hadn't kept growing, I wouldn't have gotten those team members. Something else that was really hard at first is my siblings joked about pyramid schemes a lot. I'm already the butt of my family's jokes a lot. When we do family dinners, I'm already the one getting picked on, but they had a new force to pick on me with. So I got a lot of slack around the dinner table, joking about my products, joking about the pyramid scheme, all of those things. But guess who's not joking anymore, guys? Because I didn't give up. I got to, now I don't have to work as many hours, and I'm making more money than they are. They're not making fun of me anymore. My family leaves me alone for month end now. They understand. To a point. They still want food, but they understand. So when you keep going and you prove them wrong, really amazing things can happen. So that's my little part of the story. But we have 3 more people that we're going to talk about because they all have different circumstances and different things have happened. And I did not tell them who I was asking first. So I'm going to pick on Tammy first. So I'm going to, okay, there we go.
I feel lucky.
Love it. Can you
Hey
tell
guys.
us like a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Tammy, and I've been in the business for about, it's going to be a year next month, which is crazy. But I feel like some of the things that I overcame are very similar to what Monica actually had to overcome I was super energetic about the business. I was so excited, and I started really early on in the business. And I enrolled all these distributors, these customers, and I was just really, really, really excited. And then as I, kept enrolling distributors, you give a lot when you train. You enroll a distributor and you're like, oh my, it's like a baby to me. I'm like, oh, and I cherish them and I train them and I teach them. But as I slowly started to gain more distributors, they all kind of fizzled out. So I was charted for Ruby really early on, maybe I want to say like 3 months, 2 or 3 months into the business, which for me was like a big goal, and achievement for me. But then they all kind of just stopped working. They stopped responding. I know that happens to like all of us. Like, how many of you guys have just like signed up distributors and all of a sudden they're like nowhere to be found? They're like, what did I do? Like, did I say something? And I would even send messages like that, like, what did I do? Did I offend you? And I got nothing. But I was determined because I really wanted to, I knew what this business can do. I saw what it did for other people and I loved the products. I was actually a customer before. I was a distributor, so I love the products, I love the business. So I stayed determined. No matter what came, no matter what obstacle came, I was determined to, make the income that I wanted to. The goal, my why was always in front of me. Like, we had expenses that we need to pay off. And, I really, really wanted to achieve that. So I just kept that at a focal point. Like, I didn't let my discouragement, even my own feelings of inadequacy, because I thought maybe I'm not training right. Maybe they don't like me. Maybe it's me. But my upline really helped me to see that no matter how nice you are, no matter how much you put into some people are just not going to run in this business. Some people just don't want this business as much as you do. So what she helped me, which I think that was one of the key things, I was very, very honest with my upline. I talked to her about everything. I said, I'm not having a good day. Like, what can I do? And she'd give me like a podcast, or she'd give me a video to watch. And it kind of just like changed my perspective. And I'm like, okay, it's not a pity party. Let me get working. Like, let's just keep going. Like, don't sit around. Don't wallow, because if you wallow, you're not going to work. You're wasting time wallowing and not working. Now, that's not to say that you can't take a moment and feel. Like, it's okay to like take a moment and kind of like step back and have emotions, because we're human. But after that, let's get moving, let's get going. Because when I was working is when I realized that I didn't even remember that my whole team quit on me. I didn't remember that I didn't have the chart that I needed, but I was working like if I was diamond, or I was working like if I was emerald, because that's what I wanted to do. So when you guys feel, oh, I'm sorry, I don't mean to talk over you. So when you guys are feeling like down and just like, you feel like your whole team has quit on you, you're not where you want to go, don't give up. I would just put on a video, like a Jade Hooper video, and I would just like run with it. Like, I'm working. I'm Jade Hooper, and I'm Master Diamond. Like, I would just say these things because that's where I was working towards having that kind of income. But yeah, that's kind of a little bit about me, my story, and personal development really helped me to kind of get over my humps, like in the business.
That's great. So you didn't just sit there, you got over it, but you also were I love that you were honest with your upline and you talked about it, because that's something like for me with my experience, my downline did not do that and I could have helped. So that's perfect, because you can reach out. And it doesn't have to necessarily just be that your upline. It can be a sideline. It can be anybody. So I love that you didn't just sit there stewing with what was going on and you expressed it to someone else, because you don't have to feel like you're complaining. Like, we all have to vent at some point, but we also need that help and those suggestions. So that's perfect. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Love that. Next, we're going to ask Kalila. for her experience. I just asked you to unmute, but I don't know. Can you?
There
And
we
then
go.
can everybody else make sure that you stay muted? Because if you're unmuted, then it's hard for us to hear everybody. All right, let me spotlight you. There we go. Okay,
Hey,
so can you share with us like some of the bigger discouragements that you might have faced in your business?
yeah, of course. I think one of my biggest like hurdles, I think from the beginning, is just myself.
Mm-hmm.
We'll hold ourselves back and thinking that we're not good enough. Someone else was able to do that, but it's probably not meant for me. Even though I had big dreams and like I knew what this business was like capable of, I would hold myself back just from my fears. So that was one of the biggest things from the beginning. Then to top it off, I remember like telling my best friend, I was so excited. I was like, all right, I started my own business. Like I really want to just stay home with the kids. Like I'm tired of working so many jobs. And I remember her kind of laughing. She had done another MLM for a long time. And she's like, you know, those It Works girls have a reputation. And she was laughing at me. And that like was not, you know, kind of hurt my heart. Wasn't exactly the response I was wanting, especially since I was already fighting my own like fears, you know, that I wasn't good enough. Then I talked one of my close relatives into joining with me, and she did, and I helped build her to Ruby. I'm like, all right, we're gonna do this together. I'm so excited, and she decided to quit. And I remember I was just like wondering if I'm like, well, maybe it's not the right thing to be doing. Should I be doing this? And I mean, I'm like making a what it had done for everybody else. Can you guys hear me? My internet keeps on popping
Yeah,
up saying it's not working.
it keeps cutting in and out.
Let's see. Well, tell me if it gets worse.
You're frozen.
Can you hear me?
Seems a little, and now you're
No.
frozen. Let's see. Coming back.
Is that better?
It is, I think.
A little bit? Okay.
Let's try it.
Okay. So I was sorry. So I was torn because my close relative decided to quit after I built her to Ruby. And I was like considering quitting myself. And I remember her coming to me and she was like, "You're still going to continue?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "I'm going to get a $10,000 bonus." I said, "I want that." And that was kind of when I decided to like decide that I was going to do it, even though people were making fun of me. And I remember my dad standing on the porch and I was told him, I'm like, "Dad, I'm going to get a $10,000 bonus. Like that's what's going on right now. And I'm going for it. I'm so close." And him and my mom just started laughing. And so all those little moments, like they just add up and you start questioning yourself and you feel like, you know, it just feeds those feelings of maybe you're not good enough and it's not going to happen and you're crazy. So.
Right. But I love that you decided. I feel like that's a very important statement, that you decided that you were going to do this for you and for your family, because ultimately it doesn't matter to anybody else. Like it's for you and your family, but you have to make that decision that you're in it. And I feel like we all have that moment where we decide, like we are going to do it. Like anybody who's reached Emerald or Diamond or anything, even Ruby, you've decided that you're going to do it, I feel like. So I love
Another
that.
thing, I'm sorry, I have to say this. Just
No,
like Tammy said, I really trusted my upline. Mm-hmm. So even though my family was saying things and they really didn't 100% believe what was going to happen, I trusted my upline and I did go to them and I talked to them and That's so important. You have to, like, any advice that your upline is giving you, it's to help you. Like, we're not trying to harm you in any way. We want to help you succeed. We are only successful if we help you be successful. So please tell us if you're fighting any of those like concerns or discouragement or your family. Like, we want to help you and help you be successful.
Right. So true. I love that. Thank you. So I'm going to ask, let's see, we're going to ask Italy now. I love this because everybody just has such variety of what's going on. Here we go. Italy, let's spotlight you so everybody can see. So can you share with us a little bit about yourself and some of the things that you faced in the beginning?
So I've been in the business for a little bit over a year. And when I got started, I definitely knew that this is something that I wanted to do like long term because I really needed the money. And I'm the oldest child like in my family, and coming from a Hispanic family as well, that just kind of means that you're like a second parent. You're pretty much responsible for like your siblings too, helping out your parents. And then I'm married, so kind of had to deal with that too. But when I got started, I was super excited to join because again, we needed the income, and I just kind of took off. I was pretty much the type of person that was like, tell me what to do and I'll do it. And I definitely feel like when you're starting off, rather than being scared, you just kind of have to let the excitement take over and just do everything like the other girls said, you know, that your upline tells you to do, because they've obviously been doing it longer than you have. And like Kalila said, they're not going to be successful unless you're successful. So of course we want you to have all the tools that you need. So when I got started, I remember that I was pretty much like, okay, what's next? Like, what do I do now? Like, I was just so eager. And when my upline would say, okay, go post, I would go post. Go message, I would go message. So because I did that, I was able to go Ruby within my first month, which was something that was super exciting. And after that, like by my second month, I was charted for double diamond, which then I honestly didn't even know what it meant. Like, I was just kind of like, oh, okay. Like, I thought everybody kind of like went at that same pace. So I guess it started off great. You know, I was like, oh, wow, like I'm having a lot of success. Like, this is fun. But then that's kind of where the struggles came, because I was so like loud and proud about everything that I was doing, the business that I like kind of partnered with. There was obviously a lot of people who didn't like that. The people that I had on my like Instagram that I guess were bothered at the fact that I wanted to do something else for myself and for my family and all the success that I was having. So I kind of had those struggles come from people that I thought were like really close friends of mine, people that pretty much like saw me grow up. And when I like messaged, I remember one person specifically that I thought was like one of my really close friends. I was just like, hey, like, you know, I partnered up. Like, the initial message wasn't even like pushy. I remember specifically been like, if you want to try something, let me know. If not, like, it's totally fine. And I remember her saying, thank you for your message, but I'm not going to try. I'm not interested right now, or will ever try anything that like you're promoting. And I remember that I was just like, what? Like, I felt so hurt, not necessarily because of the no, but because you expect your closest friends to be the ones that support you, or the fact that she threw in there like, will never, you know. I was just kind of like, okay, like, great. So that was just kind of like little things like that that started adding up. I had a lot of people unfollow me, people block me, other people make fun of me. And I knew because others were coming and telling me like left and right, oh, this person's saying this person's saying that. So despite all the success that I was having right off the bat, those things were definitely discouraging, because I felt like I kind of hit a roadblock, and I was like, wait, like everything was going great. Like, what is this? And since I was like new, I was pretty much like, has this happened to anybody else? Or like, maybe this is just me. Like, maybe it's the people that I'm around. Like, I don't know what it is. So you start questioning yourself, and you start feeling like you're the one that's doing something wrong, when in reality, like, you're not. You know, I had people say like, oh, you're joining like a pyramid scheme, or like, oh, this and that. And one thing that I definitely want to mention is that if you're facing that yourself, you have to be confident in the business that you're in. The doubts are going to continue to be there and like linger around if you don't know what type of business you're in, if you don't get how it works. So what you need to do is you need to understand how the business actually works, and then you'll feel confident enough to be like, actually, you're wrong. Like, I'm not in a pyramid scheme. So that's pretty much what I did. Like, I knew that, you know, those kind of little struggles weren't going to go away. I just kind of had to get stronger. I had to get my confidence up. So that's what I did. Just like the rest of the girls, I started talking to my upline, who is so amazing. Shout out to Jenny. And I remember Tara as well being such a great help, our presidential leader. And I feel like that just spoke a lot of volumes, having like a whole team to back me up. There's so many other girls on the team that the moment I started feeling those struggles, I felt comfortable enough to kind of talk to them, because after a while, like, it just felt like I was hitting problem after problem. Like, even though I charted for double diamond, I literally, my whole chart fell apart. Till this day, there's only one person that's on my team that was still like from the OG team. So that alone could have been discouraging, and I just kept going. And like, you know, I feel like a lot of people can relate. Like, I feel like for me, something that's a problem or that was an issue was that I feel like I'm really good at enrolling. Like, I feel comfortable. I'm a people's person. So I love being able to connect with like potential distributors that way. And just enrolling was never the problem. But I felt the issue with me was like, what do I do after I enroll them? Like, is it me, like, that they're not sticking around? Like, maybe I just suck as a leader. Like, maybe I'm just good at like talking them in, but can't keep them, you know, to stay. But then I just like realized that you can't want things for people more than they want it for themselves. Like, I knew that this is what I wanted to do, like that I needed the money, how bad, like it was going to help me and my family. So I was willing to just kind of push through and like learn. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people who will literally pray for an opportunity like this, who will go on Google and look for something, but then the moment the opportunity actually falls into their lap, they don't do anything about it. They think it gets too hard, it gets too complicated. They freak out or get anxiety when you're sending out messages. And I'm not, you know, trying to make anybody feel bad. Like, I went through that too. I remember I was like super nervous to message people because you don't know what kind of reaction you're going to get. But again, that's where the excitement comes in, and you just kind of have to push through, especially if you're new, because I promise you that it does get better. Like, even if at the beginning, all you hear is no, you have to be willing to keep pushing through so that you get the yeses. And I feel like one thing that I do want to mention is that when I was new, it was so easy to look at other people who were already diamonds and above and be like, man, like, I bet they have it all good. Like, I bet customers just come to them. Like, I bet they don't even have to like try that hard anymore. And let me tell you that that is far from the truth. The higher the rank you go, the harder you have to work. The job stays the same. Like, it doesn't get any harder. Truly, the job doesn't get harder, but like, it's just the fact that it's more work. Like, your work ethic, you just kind of have to level up. Because I promise you that if you're an executive or if you're a new distributor, but you like ask our, you know, presidential diamond, you know, leader, Tara, or like the double and above, like things like that, they will tell you when you ask them, like, what do I need to do? Everybody's going to give you the same answer, because we all do the exact same thing. The only difference is that they are where they are because they were willing to push through the crap. It wasn't all like fun and games for them. I'm pretty sure everybody goes through the discouragement. They had people quit. They had people make fun of them. They had their no's, a lot of them, because that's how you get to where you want to be. You just have to be willing to push through. So I definitely wanted to touch on that, because I remember that I had that mindset at the beginning where I was like, well, maybe, you know, I'm not meant to be like a diamond and above leader. Maybe I'm meant to be a ruby. Like, I guess this is as far as I'll go. Or like, they have it all perfect because, you know, they don't work full time or things like that. But you have to stop finding excuses, and you just have to decide that you're going to turn your excuses into like a reason why to work harder. If you're using your, like, the fact that you're a busy person as an excuse, then work hard enough so that you don't have to work full time anymore. You know, just like see things as an opportunity. And I can definitely tell you that that's the difference between the people that are where you want to be and you, that they were just willing to literally cry it out and keep going. I can't even tell you the times that I like have fallen apart and then having to basically like rebuild myself, whether that's because of something somebody said, or like Kalila said, because of just my own limiting beliefs, thinking, yeah, maybe I'm not too good at this. You know, it's going to happen to all of us. So it's okay if you feel that way. But the worst thing that you can do is like keep those feelings to yourself. You have to understand that you literally joined one of the best teams this company has. The community that we're trying to build here is amazing and unlike other teams that I have personally seen. If you need something, you will have your sideline sisters like wanting to help. You know, you have all the tools that you need to be successful. So don't stay feeling like you're the only one that has ever gone through those negative emotions, to the people, you know, making fun of you, family members not supporting you, or your chart falling apart. It's okay. So I guess it's pretty much like what I wanted to mention, to just know that you're not the only one going through it. And I know at the beginning, it could kind of feel like that. It can feel like, I guess this is as far as I'll go, or like, maybe I'm not good enough. That person has this, I don't have that. So stop looking around at like what you think other people have that you don't, because we're all doing the same thing. But if somebody is where you want to be, that's because they do more of the work that we're all supposed to be doing. And don't lie to yourself, because that, like Monica said, where you think you're working, but then you're not really working. Posting is not working, you guys. That is not working. You have to do all the things, because it all comes full circle. You can't like post and not message, because then you're not going to get customers or distributors. Like, you can't just kind of pick and choose when you want to work or what task you want to do. You have to do all of it. So if you're not seeing the results that you want, that's because I can guarantee you, you're not doing everything that you need to be, because there's no secret sauce. I remember like when I joined, wanting to watch all these Zooms, because I'm like, okay, somebody's going to say something that somebody else hasn't said that's going to like, you know, make me wake up and go triple diamond. And that did not happen. All the Zooms I hopped on, people were saying the same thing. And one thing that they had in common was that the consistency, and you'll always hear it, just work, just get to work. When you're feeling like you don't want to work, I promise you, that's when you need to work the most. And it just recently happened to me, where I was like looking at everybody else, like promoting more or like enrolling more. And I was just like, man, like, what am I doing wrong? I'm a diamond leader now, by the way. And I still have those like thoughts. So they never go away. So you like, I don't want you to think that the moment that a rank is going to bring you happiness, or that because you hit a certain rank, like the problems are going to go away. Like, I remember before being diamond, I was like, when I'm diamond, I know things are going to be great. It's going to be perfect. And no, it is not like that at all. So if you have that mindset right off the bat, that you know struggles are going to come, you're going to, instead of just kind of bringing yourself down, you're going to be willing to push through. So just push through, you guys, because I promise you that even if things don't get easier, you get stronger and you get more grit, and your determination becomes bigger. So remember why you started. Even on the moments that you feel like quitting, I promise you, the only way you're actually going to fail is if you quit. If you quit, then yes, you are a failure, because you were willing to just give up on your dreams, give up on whatever this business was supposed to accomplish for you and your family. And for me, it just got to the point where I was like, you know what? I don't care how many times I have to like, you know, crumble to pieces and pick myself back up, or my chart. Like, I'm just going to do it, because I'm in it for the long haul. And I know that if I stay, like, eventually I'm going to get to where I want to be. So don't give yourself an option where, like, if it gets hard, you're going to quit. Think of this as a marriage. Okay, you guys, like, when you're married, like when you're dating, you still have an option where if you don't like something, you're like, all right, see you, like, next. When you're married, you can't. when you're married, it doesn't matter what your spouse does. You have to stick around because you made that vow of like, I'm in it, like through thick and thin. As much as they can annoy you, like, you know, it's not all bad. So think about it with this business as the same thing as a marriage. It's not all bad. Okay, like it's not. You obviously have had great moments. I'm pretty sure if you've enrolled one distributor, you can enroll 10 more. If you've enrolled one customer, you can enroll 10 more. So see it as a marriage. Don't give yourself a way out. Don't get a divorce with it works, you guys. Like, you don't want that on your track record. And I do have to say too that the company is not the problem. Okay, so if you're thinking like, because I have to point this out because I know that there's a lot of poaching going around and I know a lot of us are just sick and tired of it. But if you're thinking, oh, the company is the problem, that's why I'm not making money, let me go to this other company where people seem to have more success, it's going to be the same thing. If not, you'll probably fail at that too. I'm sorry. Because it is not the company, it is not the compensation plan, it's the fact that you are not willing to do the work. Like, you're gonna go there, you're gonna be excited, and then the moment they tell you, okay, these are the tasks you have to do, you're gonna be like, yeah, maybe I don't want to do this after all. So don't be like a company hopper either, and don't give up on yourself. Like, just understand the company that you're in. Make friends. If you make friends and you branch out, like, it's gonna make it harder for you to leave. Because now, because of the relationships that I have with some of these girls in the business, in this specific team, I'm like, man, I can't picture like not having a life with them like in it anymore. You know, like, just, it's more than business. You build those relationships. So that's why I'm telling you, branch out. It's not all business. We can have fun too. In fact, our job is fun, you guys. I can't think of anybody else who gets paid to do what we do. Like, you're literally just talking to people, building relationships, and like getting paid really well to do it. So just keep going. Be willing to accept the hard truth sometimes, that it's not the company, that it's you, and that you just have to double your efforts. That's it.
I love that. I love everything that you just said. And if you think about it, like, we all, like, the accountability with the team, the friendship that we build with the team, I love that. I love that, like, as a brand new distributor, I felt like I could go to Tara. I felt like I could, like, even Ashley Mirth. We can text Ashley Mirth. Like, I love that we have that like, we're a part of this amazing team. And I love that, like, you were feeling discouraged when you were like hitting Ruby in your first month and all of that. Well, at that same exact moment, I was comparing myself to you and feeling like, well, why am I not getting what Italy is getting and all of that? So like, that just kind of proves to show you can be comparing yourself to somebody and feeling like you're just like not doing anything. And at the same exact moment, they're comparing themselves to somebody else and being discouraged. So, I mean, I like vividly remember that you were busting out the DTs and everything at the moment where I was not enrolling anything. And I was like, why is she getting what I'm not? But you were reaching out to friends and family that I didn't do that. So like, we all have these different things that we might be facing, but I think the common thread was reaching out to your upline, not quitting, push through, figure it out, figure out what you're doing, what you can change, and just don't be scared. And just prove everybody wrong, guys. Prove them all wrong. It is the most satisfying feeling to prove people wrong when they're judging you for this. Like, there is no feeling that's better when it comes. I love it. Knowing, like, when your family stops talking trash about you, it's amazing. It's so much fun. So thank you guys all.
Better. And like, something I say is like, with the, like, going back to the point of like comparing yourself to somebody else, like, you guys, nobody's gonna post like the crappy day that they had. Like, we don't do that. Like, you know, when I have a bad day, I don't go on my Instagram and I don't start like ranting about how my life can suck or how I feel in that moment. Like, nobody. So you have to understand that, like, all these top leaders you're probably looking at, they probably like woke up that day feeling like their whole team was going to fall apart, or like scared to do something out of their comfort zone, or like maybe they haven't enrolled in like 2 weeks. Like, you don't know, but they keep going. So that's why you think that they have it all together, because I know that's what I thought, but in reality, that's not the case. They're just willing to keep going. So like Monica said, you know, stop comparing yourself, and people are always going to choose what to post on Instagram. Like, just think about yourself. Like when you have a fight with your husband, or if your kids are acting up, like, do you go on Instagram and have like a full hour rant about how like your life is falling apart at home? Like, you don't. So it's the same thing with the business. Like, you don't see the top leaders going and like talking about how their whole chart fell apart or how they haven't enrolled despite them working consistently for 2 weeks. So just make sure that you keep going, like Monica said.
Very true. I mean, I remember when I was feeling discouraged, I was looking at this one girl on our team, and her Instagram was beautiful. I thought that she was enrolling left and right. She was in all the chats. And then after like a month of me following her in one of the chats, she said, just enrolled at LC, finally, it's been forever. And I was shocked. So we never know. You never know. You can't compare each other. Yeah, things happen. But thank you guys all for being on here.